Peace. You with us now with Bonded by the Blade. We here, we in the building. It's like our fourth official.
Like our fifth show.
Is the fifth one?
Yeah, the fifth one.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Some of them, you know what? All right, boom. I had to switch that up right there. But look, we here to give y'all that knowledge, that information for inspiration, for the purpose of elevation. That's what we do at Reality Speaks. Bonded by the Blade, where information plus black power breaks the chain. This show right here is dedicated to like what we do on the barbering floor. This is what we do. We cut hair, but we talk a lot about the politics, history, anything that's going on, anything that's going on in the news. That's what we do. So we want to bring the barbering floor to the internet. And
Right.
soon come when we got the studio set up, we're gonna be bringing we're gonna be coming live from our actual studio, where we're gonna be bringing people in there also. Sometimes we'll be coming straight directly from there in the barbershop setting, so that y'all can really still get that whole feel. So we're gonna be doing that coming up soon. We just tweaking things. Look, y'all gotta get ready because we got information coming to y'all. We got 28. Happy anniversary, brother Sunyata, because this Thursday represent 26 years. 26 years. Soul Vibers Nation Reality Speaks been doing
26 years. Let's
26 long hard years. We still putting out that information.
That's right.
Putting out the information. You can go to our page on YouTube, and we put up our very, very first lecture with Dr. Tyrone Powers. Y'all go there and support. Man, we got Dick Gregory's on there. We got Tyrone Powers. We have Dr. Laila Africa. I've been looking at a lot of Dr. Laila Africa lately. Man, I mean, he's kicking some knowledge. And Nearly Fuller, I got a brand new Nearly Fuller that we loading up for y'all. Never seen by the internet before. We got stuff, man. We got stuff loaded up. So y'all support what we doing, because we bringing that knowledge and information. We've been leading the way 26 years, but we just really starting to now come to the internet, start to come over, you know what I mean, and say like, hey, Reality Speaks, we here now. We on the World Wide Web for real. Even though we've been here for years, but we haven't had a presence. We haven't had a show enough show. So right. I'm Brother Jabari from like I said, Conscious Heads Barbershop, Reality Speaks, Soul Vibers Nation, and I'll let Brother Sunyata introduce himself.
Well, happy Tuesday to everybody. We're coming on here. We're excited about what we're doing with Bonded by the Blade. We're excited about the people that we engage in. We're excited about the community that we engage in. And we have an awesome show for you guys tonight. Like a little backtrack on the history that Brother Jabari was talking about with Reality Speaks, man. We put a lot of time into community and to get information out there. Over what 26 years, Brother Jabari?
26 years.
And our beloved brother that we have on here, I don't know if he remember Brother Justin. I call him the hip hop therapist. I don't know if he remembered that, but the first time I ever met you was at an event, with a Reality Speaks event that we was in conjunction with Brother Ade and him. I think you was in Towson at that time. You know what I mean? You and a couple other brothers was at Towson, but that's how far this thing goes back. You know what I mean? Yes, and so I appreciate your presence and you coming on the show tonight and helping us out and adding on to the conversation. So we in store for something powerful, bro. Mental illness, October, everybody, if nobody knows, October is mental health awareness month. And we want to take advantage of that, because as barbers, one of the things that we bear witness to is the mental health aspect of our craft and how we engage with people day in and day out, and the problems that we do see. And us being able at this point, like me and Jabari, we're going to classes and we're working with the city where we can help send people to the right, send people to the right therapist, send people to the right help that they need at this time. So we learn how to identify that. So I think that's key. So this conversation doesn't only sit for the barbershop, but it sits for the whole community, because like we said, this is October and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And brother, I would like for you to introduce yourself and let the people know who you are.
That's what's up. First of all, thank you both for having me here, man. I really appreciate it. My name is Justin Miles. I'm a therapist. I know it says I'm a hip hop therapist, so there's two different parts to that. In hip hop, I'm a lifelong MC, DJ, beatboxer, producer, journalist, a lecturer, a published writer, and in the hip hop community. So I'm a contributor to hip hop culture. I'm not a fan. I'm a contributor to the culture and to what we call hip hop. I'm also a psychotherapist. I'm in private practice. I've been in private practice since 2010, working for myself and working in the homes and schools in Baltimore City and other areas around Maryland. And I've been in the field for 22 years.
Wow.
And so this is what I do. I'm committed to both of those paths. Um, I'm also a single father, what I mean, raising a daughter by myself, and musician and gardener and a whole bunch of other stuff. But primarily, for the most part, I'm a committed hip hop um, contributor and healer. Working with people in the city and trying to bring about physiological and psychospiritual um, development, improvement. That's what I do.
Okay. So, brother, we appreciate your contribution, your hard work. It pays off. It never went unnoticed because, like me and you, we went back and forth on Instagram before on some intellectual things and some things. But I appreciate that because that's how we build community by
Yes.
conversation. But more importantly, I labeled you as the hip hop therapist, you know what I mean? And that's because of your background in hip hop, you know what I mean? And your background also in your profession as a professional therapist, social worker, etc. But we got the picture of Kanye West. Didn't you see the picture of Kanye West that we put up?
I saw the picture. It was the shot from the back of his
Yeah.
new.
I'm gonna put it up. Actually, I'll show. I'll put it up on the screen in a second.
So you can,
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen.
okay. So
as we
so
get into it.
we looked at this and from a barber's perspective, it's actually a fucked up haircut. So if people haven't seen it, that the haircut that Kanye West has is a fucked up haircut. But we raised the question: Is it Kanye West artistry, him being an artist, or is it being a cry out of mental health? You feel what I'm saying? Because we seen clients come in the shop who were going through like some type of trauma or whatever, and they started cutting their hair because they wanted their hair off or what have you. You feel what I'm saying, brother Jehu?
Yep.
So we seen clients come to us in the middle of a crisis, having their hair all fucked up, all messed up patches in their head, and they just did it off the rip, you know what I mean? And we knew they was going through something mental at that time, you know what I mean? So can you explain like what does that mean when people just start cutting into their head and from a therapist perspective? Because I've seen it numerous times. You know what I mean? I seen it numerous times. Guys coming to the shop was like, man, I don't know what was going on, and they got all these patches in their head.
Sure. Yeah, when I saw the haircut, it might have been it was last week definitely when I saw his haircut. And one thing that I like to remember is that the outside usually is a reflection of the inside.
Okay.
So when you look at Kanye's haircut, it's really it's jagged. It's in a sense disorganized. It looks like, but it looks like it's trying to be organized. Like he's trying to make a statement, but at the same time, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's Kanye, so you see there it is right there. And so you see Kanye's presentation, you see his shoes, you see his clothes, and they're actually not too dissimilar from his haircut, right?
It's true.
They seem to be very kind of everywhere, but not. It's not really a solid sense of what it is. You know what I mean? It's when you look at it, it's like I don't really know. And Kanye, for a long time, has presented the same way. Psychologically and behaviorally. You look at Kanye's life over the last 10 years, and maybe even before that, and you say that the brother has been just again kind of everywhere. Hasn't really been stable, hasn't really been secure, Everyone knows, if you keep up with Kanye, that he lost his mom, and that he suffered from bipolar disorder. But you also know that Kanye, I think since the beginning of his career, has really suffered from being just egocentric. That's kind of the level of consciousness that he operates out of. That he's very, very kind of self-centered. But as he's gotten older, you've seen him be very narcissistic. He claims to be a genius. He compares himself to everyone from Albert Einstein to Bill Gates to you know anyone great, and that's definitely a symptom of bipolar disorder. Is grandiosity, is kind of elevating himself. But another symptom of bipolar disorder is living your life in a way that's disorganized and not realizing it, and not realizing how it's causing your life harm and suffering. And so when you look at his haircut, is quite indicative of his mental state. Now, Kanye also rolls in different circles than probably most human beings. You know what I mean? And so Kanye exists in circles where art is very subjective. Where you can do things where they seem wild and crazy, but at the same time, in artistic circles, they seem really different and hip and new. But when I look at Kanye, especially, I showed my it's so funny. I showed my daughter his new shoes the other day, and his new shoes are just that. I mean, even his old shoes to me are just crazy. They're not, they're not. You know, there's nothing about the presentation of his shoes or his clothes that give any indication that they really have any other function aside from being, in a sense, dystopian, or in a sense like it's like his clothes come out of Mad Max. You know what I mean? Like that you could see Matt,
Man,
you could
Max,
see
yeah.
his clothes from, in Beyond Thunderdome, where in Beyond Thunderdome, where it was like a post-apocalyptic movie scene where things had gotten really, really had to have gotten really, really messed up on the planet, and people were living in a state of survival and wildness. And you look at Kanye's mind, and you look at his life, really being his behavior, and you can see some striking similarities between that. And so I'm not
Okay.
surprised at Kanye's haircut or Kanye's presentation. For a long time, Kanye's been unraveling, and you look how he uses religion, for kind of a search for meaning and a search for stability. But at the same time, you see that it's the aspects of religion and spirituality that are, again, still very, very egocentric. They operate out of primarily mythology. So he operates out of a very mythological perspective of religion. And so, Kanye has been unraveling for a long period of time.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. You want to introduce our next guest, brother Jabari?
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, look, I got a lot of respect for this brother. This brother's been doing a lot. We first found out about him. We was watching one of his tapes inside of the barbershop, inside of Conscious Heads, and one of the brothers had sent us saying, "Man, you gotta check this brother out." You know what I mean? It was about hip hop decoded, and this brother was kicking it, man. Brother Black Dot. We've done a couple events with him down here with Reality Speaks, and we stay in touch through social media. And he has his Urban X TV show. Him and his son on their podcast, and man, they've been killing it on there. And I can't say enough about this brother, but he is the author of a few books. But he has his book Hip Hop Decoded. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them. I think it's about two. It's two books, right? Yeah, two different books that the brother has. So you want to try to get a copy of that. But I wanted to introduce my good brother, the Black Dot. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely,
Like
I'm a
that.
big fan of this brother.
Hey,
Thanks for coming on.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Great, it's a pleasure. Brother Jabari, I've always appreciated your a commitment and work to the community at so many different levels. And I'm glad we stayed in touch. And it's an honor to be here to share some ideas and concepts with some of the other brothers. Appreciate it.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So glad you can be here. I guess you could jump right in. We we barbers, me and brother Sunyata, both master barbers, and so of course we saw, brother Kanye West's haircut. First of all, we look at everybody's head. I mean, I don't care wherever you're in the market. I don't care where you at. Y'all right here on the screen. We looking at your shape up right now. We looking at everything. Looking at like like damn, that could be a little sharper or that could. We look. That's what we do all day long. We judge everybody's haircut because that's the field that we in. So when somebody throws something up like that, we like, God damn, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like it bothers us. You know what I mean? Like it bothers us in a huge way. I know it's probably a publicity stunt. I don't know whatever Kanye is going through, whatever. But I mean, weigh in, brother Black. What you think about? What you think about that?
When I first saw it, I agree with the brother, the hip hop therapist. But with Kanye, what I noticed is he has a very hard time settling into what is considered normal. So everything for him is a constant goal to try to breach what normal is. And creativity is, if you're doing the same things over and over again, that's not really being creative. It's like following a template. So I'm always with those trying to breach paradigms in reference to creativity. But there's a limit to that. Mm-hmm. And that limit comes across because I think Kanye pushes the envelope a little too much. I don't mind the when Kanye delivers an album, he rarely delivers the same album twice or the same kind of album. Me as an artist, I appreciate that, whether he fails at it or not, because failing when we talk about art is subjective. So because he continues to try to push the envelope musically, but what he's doing from a fashion standpoint, I think he's breaching certain fashion laws. Your head should never look like that unless it's trying to make some kind of statement. I'm all with the order out of chaos situation, but it went in just a bit too far, and not just for barbers. I looked at his head and said, now that's crazy. Right. And like I said, I'm all with trying to express yourself because a lot of us have gotten so into this normal life, just going to work, being obedient. So when we see brothers and sisters veer off that, a lot of times we call them rebellious, but a lot of times they're just trying to find new avenues of expression. But Kanye, I think with the haircut, may have taken it too far, and the clothing with the holes in it, I think that just took it too far from a fashion standpoint. If you're going to be a clothing line, you got to think about our legacy as people, and we want to be proud to wear your clothing if they represent who we are as a collective. And when they do not, I'm not going to dress my son or daughter in a whole bunch of holy clothing because we're trying to remove ourselves from the mindset that we're vagabonds or, old people looking like slaves when they used to just throw clothing on us that already had holes in them. We're trying to raise the vibration of who we are. So I'm not going to go backwards and wear clothes with holes in it. So that's my initial take on the Kanye thing. Spend a little bit more time because there are ways for him to be creative without diminishing the value of what fashion is.
No doubt, no doubt. I just want to take the time out, tell people to, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? We're building channel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, although we do have millions of views through our channel because it's been there for a long time, but the show is just building. So, hit the like button, subscribe. We here now, you know what I'm saying? And Brother Black got us a part of that lecture series that we had, that strong lecture series, but it's strong, and we're gonna be releasing, like I said, Brother Dot, we releasing Dick Gregory's, we got Nearly Fuller's, we got Francis, we got stuff that people ain't never seen.
That's right.
We're gonna be putting out here on YouTube, so it's gonna be coming. Brother Marcus Klein is in the building. He watching right now. We got some Marcus Klein, Brother Marcus Klein, Fred Hampton Jr. I mean, we got it. You name it, we got it lined up. Even we got some early Umar Johnson, like early. Yeah, pre the Big Papa and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we got some early Umars, but we got it lined up. So we just want to keep things moving. I just want to tell people hit that, and you can support. You see our Cash App going across the screen. Now, what we doing? We got a major fundraiser going on because we got 2 barbershops. This is historical right here. Brother Sundiata, who's my first apprentice barber, he opened up his own shop. Him and brother Andwele, and so what we doing now? We coming back together, joining forces to open up a 3rd shop. We 2 shops combining together to open a 3rd shop. And and then doing that, we changed the bill in the state of Maryland for apprenticeship to master barbers. So that House bill was 1317. So we encourage people to give whatever you want. But if we want to see your 1317s, and we'll shout you out, you know what I'm saying, with your
That's
cash
right.
app and stuff like, you know what I mean? You can give 50, you can give 100. But man, everything we do, we try to make history, and it's going to create more jobs in our city. We're going to cut the homeless and the needy, you know what I mean? And people that's unfortunate, we're going to actually perform those services for our people, man. It's going to be historical. So y'all support that. And then y'all support how we get ready to blow the internet up with all of these different lectures
That's
that y'all
right.
ain't seen before. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna hit y'all hard with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming up. So so definitely contribute. But let's keep it going. So what did y'all think about the album, Kanye's album, though? I mean, the latest album. What's the verdict on that? Let's go around.
Well, I'll go first. It sounded like gospel music with no drums. Like, when we talk hip hop is rooted in those drums. So when I gave it the first listen, I said it sounded contemporary gospel music. And I'm not a religious person, but music has no bearing on that, because if it's great music, it's great music. Now, when I gave it a second and third listen, I understood what he was attempting to do by, synthesizing his Christianity with his struggle. So it took me a while. It was an acquired taste, but some of the songs acoustically are really, really good.
Yeah.
And it was overtracked. It didn't need to be 26 tracks.
Right.
You could have cut that down to about 14 tracks.
Mm.
I think it would have had more impact on it. So, but it was vintage Kanye from an acoustic standpoint. And some of the music, when I got home and really turned it up, I was able to feel the vibration. But Kanye is not an MC. Kanye is what we label as a rapper. So it's like night and day. So him doing so, was just more of like him making cameos on his own album. So I thought it was okay. It wasn't a classic album, but I gave it a better vote of confidence the second and third time around. Listen.
Okay. What you think, brother Singh?
Well, after listening to it, I mean, it was dark at first, you know what I mean? And I listened to it again, took a second try at it, and I started to see a little bit more light in it, though. You know what I mean? And I that's most albums to me, but Kanye, I've been watching his evolution, because he has been evolving, you know what I mean, into something else, you know what I mean? Definitely. But like even what you said, like without the drums being in the Black Dot, I think he was really like emphasizing like the lyrical play, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
More of the lyrical play, you know what I mean? Especially on that one with Jay-Z, like Jay-Z is crystal clear. You know what I mean? There's no drum, you know what I mean? And you can really get it, you know what I mean? Like I said, I think it's oversaturated with tracks, definitely. But overall, I'm still gonna take another look at it. But I just actually listened to it again before I got on the show, and it started to have a little bit more light to me, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna give it a chance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it another chance.
What you think, brother Justin?
So whenever I look at a project from hip hop, I look at it from 4 different perspectives. I look at it behaviorally, socially, culturally, and psychospiritually, which are the different areas that human beings show up in any given moment, right? And so, the first thing that was interesting about that album is that the point of the album was supposed to be about his mother, his deceased mother, right? It was about Donda, right? And so when you listen to the album, you realize that it's kind of sprinkled with feelings about his mom or just aspects of his mom, but you also notice the struggle of him trying to stay there. That it's very difficult for Kanye to not center Kanye. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so a lot of the album, I think, like the highlights of the album, really were the features. It wasn't
Mhm.
the music. A lot of people really were gassed off the features. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And the diversity of the features. But when you realize this album has been, I don't know how many years, 10 years in the making, something like that, right? I mean, I can't remember how
Yeah.
long it's been since his mom passed.
Mhm.
But this is the album that his fans have been expecting for a very long time. And so I would think that he would have time to really focus on and really contemplate really what the loss of his mother has meant to him and what it's meant to his life. But you really didn't get a lot of that. You know what I mean? You really got like just a little bit here, a little bit there. And then you got some common kind of rap stuff. He's as brother Black Dot said. I mean, he's a rapper. He's not an MC. But
Mhm.
even being a rapper, his rhymes he really didn't spend a lot of time centering his mom. You could tell that again, this is the new again kind of mythic, literal Christian centered Kanye, where
Mhm.
he tried to sprinkle that in there. But when I listened to the album, I questioned how much of the album was actually supposed to focus on his mom versus how much of the album was emotional avoidance of his mom. Was
Mm.
actually like how much of it was his attempt at very loosely connecting with his mom, but also kind of talking around the loss of his mother. You know what I mean? Um, Beat wise, I mean, some of the albums just like some of the tracks just stretched on either way too long, or they were just kind of vacant or vacuous of feeling for me. I really think that it rested on the features itself. Um, Culturally, it was kind of very kind of low bar for me. It didn't really center what we would call kind of hip hop. Traditionally, it actually was very ego centered, which kind of low morality and low values in terms of what we consider to be hip hop. And
Mhm.
so, and then you look at the fact that the album came out, and that you for anyone who was paying attention, the album was kind of competing with Drake's album. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so you looked at how the release of the album and even the conceptualization of the album, even some of the lyrics, were still trying to keep up with what Drake was doing. But the idea of his album was supposed to be really again non-self-centered. It really
Yeah.
wasn't about him. It really wasn't supposed to be about him. But there was the whole release date thing, like who's gonna release the
Mhm.
album first, on which date
Yeah.
they're gonna release it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got people going back and inserting new lyrics to either diss this person, diss Drake or what have you. And so the album was very, very Kanye. It's very, you know what I mean. Again, to me, Kanye for a very, very long time has been vacant of a solid sense of identity in terms of who he is, a certain sense of stability in terms of who he is, and he's been very kind of non-linear with his presentation and really just grasping and reaching for something to feel like he's centered, but still not ever presenting centered. You know what I
And
mean?
you said that because this album was supposed to realign him. He was
Yes,
supposed to come to grips with his mother, pay
sure.
homage to the feminine energy that is his
Yes,
mother, because he hasn't been the same since his mother transitioned.
Right.
Shame.
right.
This album was supposed to honor her and then realign him to a greater point. And I agree with you. He failed at that mission because it all revolved back around to him in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Those are great points.
Yeah.
Shame.
So I mean, I mean, when I listen to it, I mean, I mean, I like some of the stuff on there. You know what I mean? Like I could feel the spirit in some of the stuff in there. You know what I mean? And even what was that Larry Hoover? Larry Hoover's son was that? Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and he snuck that in there. You know what I'm saying? I like the way he'll always sneak a little something in there. You know what I'm saying? In the midst of it, and you can still hear the genius of Kanye inside of it. You know what I mean? At the same time, now he was all over the place with different things, but I guess maybe he was saying that I'm all over the place. That's how I've been since my mother passed away. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. I'm here, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what he was saying. But I vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? There was some songs on there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a religious, but I'm not a Christian. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Or any religious person or whatever. You know what I mean? But you know, it seemed like he just at a certain place in his life. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, yo, like what's going on?
Yeah.
The person who I looked at as a God figure, you know what I'm saying, in my life is gone. And I've been like in the dark, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know which way to go. You feel what I'm saying? That's kind of how I took the album. But there's some stuff in there that I listened to that I kind of that got into my vibe. Cause you know, like as you go through things in life, you kind of like, damn, man, you know what I mean? This kind I can see where this kind of touched my spirit, you know what I'm saying? A little something, you know what I'm saying? So what's up with the what's up with the mask though? What's up with the mask Kanye been wearing? I mean, what's that
Yeah,
about?
what's up with that?
Well, from my perspective, it's like the Michael Myers mask or something.
Right.
We're in the Jason months. That's the crazy thing. July, August, September, October, November represent the Jason months. So I just think it was a ritual of some sort. You know, Kanye, that whole pre-performance or album release in multiple stadiums, him being ascended, it all reeked of ritualistic behavior. So him wearing the mask, maybe creating a new identity, attempting to mask his true feelings since you know what happened to his mom's. So the mask always represents you're hiding something. You're something is covert within you. There's an esoteric aspect to it. So that's how I took the mask, along with all of the other things that appear to be a little strange, that he's conveying messages, perhaps those who can pick them up. But again, trying too hard to be different. Sometimes you don't have to go to those extremes to show that you're vibrating differently or you perceive the world differently. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm also picking up the vibes. His relationship with Kim, you know what I mean, is trying to be rekindled. I believe he has a lot going on. So that's all I can really say. And the mask may be covering his tears. Think about the mask of my tears. Who knows? There's so many different, you know, components to wearing a mask and why people wear masks.
Well, like, he definitely needs to
cover that head. I got a question for the hip hop therapist. How can we tie that mask demonstration into like some mental health aspect, the mental health aspect of that?
Sure. You think about a mask, and a mask may have two purposes. There's an outward presentation, how you wish to be perceived, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's something that you don't want to be perceived, right? There's something that I'm trying to keep to myself, right? And if you look at the masks, and I've seen, I think over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a couple masks, like I've seen the spiked mask, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen the white face kind of blank, blank mask, almost like I think his brother Black Dot was saying, like the almost like the Michael Myers type of mask. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's not just a mask. It's also, if you look at how Kanye has been dressing, right? Kanye is a billionaire, right? However, most of his physical presentation is absent of color. And so it's very, very flat. It's very, very, it's either black or blue. It's very dull. You know what I mean? And the masks also present that way too. I mean, the spike mask is a little bit more, in your face. Right.
So if
looking at, go ahead.
So if a person tends to wear like darker colors, such as the colors we talking about Kanye West, and you don't have a lot of brightness around you, Is that saying something as well? Like some people that dress in all black all the time, all gray,
Sure,
whatever. You know what I mean?
sure. I caution against um, relating any type of like when you immediately apprehend someone's hair or the color of their skin or the color of their clothes, and then making kind of loose assertions or interpretations about who they are, right? Because you could always be
Mhm.
wrong, right?
That's right.
We don't know, right? However, with Kanye, he's made an actual clothing line that actually mimic that as well. Like he not only dresses that way, but he's trying to sell this to people, right? He's trying to sell that feeling and that vibe to people of being kind of absent of color. All of his clothes, again, are kind of literally out of a post-apocalyptic movie where they're all like just like khaki or all kind of like browns, but they're all like this
Yeah.
similar tone. But they are devoid of emotion. They're devoid of feeling. And if you look at his mask and you look at his clothes, they're almost devoid of having to be responsible for how you feel socially. He is not comfortable with presenting socially how
Yes.
he may genuinely feel, whether that's because of the scrutiny that he's received when he's presented himself, because people are like, yo, you crazy as shit. Like, with the shit that you saying or the shit that you're doing. So whether it's the scrutiny of that or him knowing internally that he is emotionally unmanaged or disorganized and not being comfortable with how he presents to other people, right? But the mask again has that dual role of, on the outside, I want you to see the sense
Right.
of blankness. You can't judge me based off of what you see. It's devoid of any type of evaluation or scrutiny or value because it has no color. It has no sense of anything. And it's not even, he's wearing no labels. It's all, I seen him the other day. I mean, it looked like he was wearing something like out the 90s. It was like almost like a Carhartt jacket with like a hoodie and like some
Yeah.
baggy, so
Yeah.
whatever. But it was devoid of any ability to really say anything about it. So it's almost like he's hiding behind the mask and the clothing, and also he's presenting something that's ambiguous and vague intentionally, but all of it screams a sense of insecurity, a lack of stability, not feeling safe with his presentation, with just being out, with people knowing who he genuinely is. And again, you can tell just by the trajectory of his career. You can tell by the trajectory of his career that he's also presented the exact same way. That he's been very, very, very uncomfortable with who he is, and so he's been erratic. He's been all over the place. You know what I mean? If you look at his projects, they're all over the
Yes.
place. Sonically, lyrically, he doesn't really know where to land, and you tell he's just reaching and just trying to find something, but he doesn't really have anywhere to solidly land. And I think the masks are indicative of that. They scream
Mhm.
that.
It's crazy because he may be all over the place, but if you look at a lot of the rappers today, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yep.
he's still way more focused than even some of these some of the rappers you hear that you first of all you can't even hear because they mumble most of the stuff that they saying, and then there's really no point of what I mean, like exactly the points that they're trying to make and those different things. So I mean,
Maybe, but I would say that some of those rappers, even the drill rappers or rappers that are just straight about, just all about killing their own people or like just doing things that are destructive to the black community, I can at least say that they present in a very linear fashion. That they, at the very least, they are very clear about where they stand,
where they
right?
stand at. Yeah,
Yeah, they're very
yeah,
clear about where
yeah.
they stand. They may release 10 projects that are all about killing black people, but Kanye is like, I don't know what, I'm just grasping at straws here. I'm just trying to find something that feels safe and secure for me, and he ain't found it yet. He ain't
Yeah,
found it yet.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
And
I think
that's not to big up them other rappers either. I'm not bigging
right.
them up
So
at all.
so what do you say about a lot of people who say like, hey, what about Kanye? Kanye may have sold his soul and sacrificed his mom, and I mean, do y'all buy into those type of things? I mean, people say it all through the internet. No,
Yeah.
I know. Brother Black Dot may have something to say on that. So, do you think that stuff is true, or do you think that
Listen, when we speaking about Hollywood, and the truth is stranger than fiction. When we begin to speak about Hollywood and some of the things that take place, I would not be surprised when you reach a certain level, because these occultists and those who study the esoteric realm, they can identify energy immediately. They bring artists in all the time, and they can identify there's something different about this artist. Now, this artist may himself or herself may not recognize it. Now, running them through them funnels to find out what they're about and what they're willing to sacrifice, that's a whole different story. He came up under Jay-Z and Dame Dash, so I would not be surprised if he had to go through a series of rituals of some sort. I'm not saying he sacrificed his moms. His mom seemed to have sacrificed herself for vanity, which is what Kanye is a victim of now. The whole surgery thing, not being able to appreciate the beauty that she already had. So sometimes you can sacrifice yourself.
That's right.
By not appreciating who you are. So all of them things, but I will say this, he just was not the same after that.
Right.
So everything he went through on stage with what's the white girl, this and that, calling out Jay-Z, all of this strange behavior. I think he latched on to Kim, maybe to try to fill a void that was left by his mother. And those is witches. I don't care what nobody says. The Kardashians is witches.
Yeah.
All right? The witches. And I think they might have sucked and drained his energy, or what could have been the primal energy of Kanye, and now he's void, which is reflected in his clothing line, his walk, his talk.
Damn.
I think that was the sacrifice of the Illuminati or not. I think that was him going outside of his race and dealing with a different vibration. And people who know who he was drained his energy and gave us what we have, which is an empty shell of the potentiality that Kanye represented.
Wow. That's deep. That's
real deep. Well, man, I that's the only thing I just want to add on what Black Dot said, man. That was excellent, man. I think that, I've been reading and hearing a lot of stuff over the years, but I really think that Kanye West, him and this whole mother thing, and the rituals that the cats go through in Hollywood and all that, and reading some of your information, and I think that shit is deep, man. You know what I mean? It's deep, and I don't know really where to start or where to end with that whole piece right there. But you know what I mean? I just appreciate all the scholarly work and research that has been done on it. So that's the furthest I can go on that one right there.
Right. Now, while we got you here, and while we talking about hip hop, and we kind of, brother Black Dot always said he loved. First of all, let me get y'all to clarify the difference between rappers and MCs. Clarify that for me. I had y'all, because I know y'all both said it's a difference. Can y'all clarify that first?
Sure. I can speak on that. Rapping is a behavior. Right? If you throw together a couple words that rhyme, you can rap. MCing, master of the ceremonies or mover of the crowd. MC is responsible for not just what they say, but for also the energy of who it is they're connecting with.
Wow.
Right? So an MC is someone who writes from the perspective knowing that what they say is going to influence people in a particular way, whether that's to make them move or to educate them or to enlighten them. Right? That's an MC. A rapper is someone who strings words together with little responsibility other than just making sure that the words rhyme, and that maybe someone who exists at that level of consciousness where they're entertained with just words that rhyme are entertained, you know.
Yep.
But an MC is, again, is someone, when you use the word master of the ceremony, right? Master means I am someone who sits at a certain, right, at a certain level, who is looking at all of the different things that are going on here. You know, I'm looking at the people that I'm speaking to. I'm looking at the venue, but I'm also looking at myself. Right, I am self-aware. I'm aware of what I'm saying, of what I'm doing, and I'm responsible for that. I'm just not embracing the freedom of the ability to have a mic and say words. Right, freedom should not come independent of responsibility.
Mm.
MC is someone who has mastered freedom and responsibility, right, and who
Wow.
shows
Right, right.
that.
And I'm gonna let Black go, but I don't know. I had to say that I mean from what you described, I mean, because Kanye has brought me out of some dark places, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know what I mean, and made some very clever wordplay and feeling that he's brought, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
and even historical relevance, you know, I mean, he's brought that to the table, and you know what I
Yes.
mean, and mentioned a lot of different things that
Sure.
that's very relevant, you know what I mean, to the day's time, and then even definitely Kanye back in the day. So I don't know, but let me hear what you say about that, Black Dot. Let me hear your different. I mean, because I'm just kind of, so I'm listening to the definition. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
see.
well, Kanye, once he lost himself, he didn't do any more writing. Other people were writing for him.
Ah,
And MCs take a pride in making sure that their words come from a deep place within inside self. These record labels, you got to remember what Rakim and them were doing in the 80s was so complex with metaphors that a lot of the Europeans couldn't understand the complexity of it. So they paid a lot of these rappers to slow the vibration down,
ah.
slow the wordplay down, so Europeans could catch on. And also, they began to focus more on the hooks of the songs so that even your grandma could say, Laffy Taffy, shake that Laffy Taffy, and it brought the art of emceeing down to a lower level. Now, we still have those who practice masters of the ceremony and moving the crowd, the complexity, the intelligence, the spiritual essence of, because these are not just words, this is energy. The words are encased in your thought, and the more complex words you speak, geometrical patterns are being formed, and you being able to decode those helps you get through and helps us break through a lot of complex things. English is not our language.
That's
So
right.
how we bend this language with this wordplay has helped us crack codes. But there are those, like the hip hop therapist said, who they just want to put words together that rhyme over hot beats because there's a monetary value to that aspect, but it's not elevating us. And being an MC requires hard work because I gotta iron my sword. I gotta make sure that, like he said, I'm responsible for what I'm saying and where I'm carrying the people. A rapper is really void of all of that. They can just come out, party, have a good time. Now, every now and then, I like a good rap song.
Right.
But
Right.
when I'm in my zone, I need an MC to carry me places using the English language that otherwise I may not be able to get to on my own.
Right. That's
Right.
right.
Well, let me ask you this. Since we said,
Let me say something real quick.
okay.
So I want to address what you said before, Brother Black Dot just made his last.
Well, he kind of
comment.
cleared it up for me. Actually, y'all two together. I mean, it
That's
made it kind of
It's
went
dope.
along when I asked the question. Yeah, but you go.
Well, what I want to say is that it's not so Kanye, and not just Kanye, other rappers slash MCs, right? Just like any of us who sometimes may have times in our lives where we experience clarity, and then we may have times in our lives when we experience confusion. Right?
Mm.
And so you may have a Kanye that drops gems. You may have a Kanye that's either ethnocentric or even kind of world centric in his presentation. But then you also can have backsliding, developmentally speaking, where he goes back into kind of his egocentric presentation, where he
Mm.
just goes, where he's just trying to rap, where he just says things just to say things. And so, being a rapper or an MC can also be a fluid thing. So I want to clear up it being kind of a solid thing. Right. When I like right now, if you put me on a track with other rappers and you tell me that this song is just about rapping, then I'm gonna write you a rapidy rap song. I'm gonna give you very simple 2-bar schemes, and I'm not
Right.
gonna really try and do anything other than entertain you, and
Right.
I'll be a rapper. But if you
Right.
put me on a track with about that's about something, I'm gonna give you 16 bars of clarity. I'm not gonna have no filler. I'm gonna give you straight line for line for line for line. A rhyme that's continuous and that's responsible for exactly what it is that I'm saying. So
So,
I think
so
that Kanye has displayed kind of aspects of a rap of emceeing at certain points, and I think again as he's begun to what I call unravel, unravel, he's done a lot more rapping. Yeah.
I
So,
agree.
so let me ask, since y'all talk about the MC and the rapper, let me ask y'all just a few names. I just want to go back and forth, so I'm clarifying. Is Drake a MC or a rapper?
Ah,
He toggles. I'm
Okay.
not sure Drake right, but he toggles. I listened to his new album. He's got a joint 7 a.m. to the something. I forget the title of it. And he's actually emceeing nonstop. The flow is almost flawless. But Drake has a certain audience that he has to appease.
Right.
So he makes beautiful songs for I call him Dr. Ake. I break his name into two pieces. DRAKE, because he's always in pain. And he brings out this pain as a metaphor through his choruses and hooks. But he does have tendencies on every album. It's either the intro or the outro where he'll demonstrate levels of emceeing that will catch my attention. And I go, this guy got a few bars. If he really wanted to hone in and just do bars, but Drake is thinking about sex. He's thinking about the ladies. He's thinking about what's going to bump in the strip club. So he has a multitude of responsibilities. But I think Drake, whether he writes or not, if he's not writing, he has an excellent team of writers around him that help him get the job done. That's how I see Drake.
About Kendrick Lamar.
Bars.
Yeah.
Bars all day. And now controversial. Eminem.
I wrote in my book, Hip Hop Decoded, White Men Can't Rap. And what I was saying was, when I used to listen to Eminem, his flow was too perfect. And what I mean by that is, when white people listen to reggae music or a certain kind of black music, for them, it's everything has to be on the one. And where we hear the hidden beat, that third ear in us, that melanin,
Soul, yeah.
we're never really off tempo. I'm
Yeah.
never off tempo because there's certain parts of the music, that silent beat, that I could always pick up. So when an MC is MCing, they too know when to breathe, the cadence, this and that. I felt that Eminem was trying to make a linear point of putting words together, and it was void of anything spiritual for me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's sort of like they had this documentary out. They was trying to make sense of scratching. And I forget the documentary where they started making musical notes of Graham Wishing Theodore's scratches. It's called scratch. Right now, that is not to be made linear because it's not to be understood like that. Jazz players didn't play music like that. So Eminem sometimes appears to be void of that aspect. Can he put words together that rhyme? Yeah, yeah.
What you think, brother Justin?
I gotta chime in. Drake is 70 to 80% rapper, 20 to 30% MC.
Okay, I
Um,
can go with that. I
uh,
can go with that.
and Kendrick Lamar is an MC, but early Kendrick. If whoever was really into Kendrick, you know, what was it? Section 80? Or was it?
Section
I can't
80.
remember his
Yeah, Section 80.
early joint. Yeah,
Hmm.
like when he was like YouTube joints. You know what I mean? He was much more like rapper Kendrick. He was a rapper. He just wanted to destroy you on the mic. He
Yeah.
didn't care about artistry or any of that stuff. Right. So Kendrick in his later incarnations has definitely been more MC. He intentionally, on purpose, willfully is trying to pull you in to various states of consciousness and experiences, without trying to, in a sense, I don't want to use the word poison, but he's trying to. It's almost like Kendrick's music is in his presentation is um, beyond himself in that he's not centering himself when he's rhyming. He's trying to give you an experience that's beyond his ego when he rhymes, and he's responsible. He's like, I realize I'm speaking to a variety of different types of people, and I'm trying to pull you into these experiences that hopefully elevate your awareness out beyond yourself as well, right? And then the last cat was what Eminem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So Eminem, um, so Eminem, um, early Eminem, the I just don't give a fuck Eminem. Before Eminem released the Marshall Mathers EP, back when he was doing Scribble Jam battles and all that, Eminem actually was much more in alignment with the hip hop aesthetic than he is now. He was completely accepted. He battled Craig G. He was talking about like he battled like the best of the best, and he was seen as one of them because he stuck to the aesthetic. It wasn't until he realized that he could begin to like make money as a wild and crazy psychopathic white dude, that his lyrics left all that shit, all that early sound bombing shit, all that was gone when the Marshall Mathers LP came out, and almost every album after that, you hear Eminem primarily focusing on just trying to really entertain you, and I know later he went into recovery and all that kind of stuff, and so that's a great thing. I'm not hating on that at all. Like he stopped using drugs and drinking and all that kind of stuff. So good for him. But in terms of what Brother Black Dot said, there was no like sense of soulfulness. It was all just kind of like, as we say, like white people be on a 1 and a 3. It was more like that, and it stayed like that for most of the entirety of his career. It's been much more just like, I'm just gonna give you some bars, you know what I mean? That's cool, but he's not really responsible for what he's saying or who he's rhyming to or what the effect of his rhymes have been. He's been involved in massive, I don't want to say controversies, but talking about Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey and yada yada yada. All of it has just been, again, his own kind of mismanaged emotions and mismanaged ego, where he's not even responsible for how he feels himself. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say some shit. I don't give a fuck how you receive it, however you take it. And that's not really MCing. MCing is like, yo, this is magic. I got a magic wand in my hand. I could do a million things with it, and I can either cast evil spells or I could make some magic happen and improve some shit. I can make some greater things happen with this gift and this magic that I have. And so Eminem is not taking that upon himself to do that. And so I say he's mostly a rapper.
Got you. What you think, Soon?
I think, man, Eminem definitely not a MC to me. You know what I mean? He's a rapper, some good wordplay. You know what I mean? He can rhyme fast. He can change. You know what I mean? Switch the flow up. You know what I mean? So I give him a good rapper. You know, I know a lot of people love him. A lot of people will say that he is an MC, but in my book, I think he's just a basic, a simple rapper. You know what I mean? I think he get a lot of credit because he's white. You know what I mean? As well. You know what I mean? I think we get a lot of people give him credit because he's a white boy. So we look at that. But what you gonna say, Jabbar?
No, it's that because me and you had a few words about Nas's new album. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Eminem's verse on that.
I love that verse. I love that verse on EPMD though. You know what I mean?
I just thought that it ain't fit. You know what I mean? I thought
no, that verse was hard.
I thought that why was he on that song? You know what I mean? I thought that Nas should have left EPMD. Like he just came out of nowhere.
I think you're both correct. And what I mean by that is this. There was one part of the rhyme, I believe it was the first part, maybe the first 16 bars, I felt were adequate enough. When he went into the second half of the spiel of his rhyme, talking about Eminem, is where he totally lost me. So, you know what I mean? Because I thought the first part of the flow was in pocket. He said what needed to be said, but then he had to over-express, over-rhyme. He was an over-rhyme. Sort of like Jim Carrey is an over-actor on purpose.
Right.
He's an over-rhymer. And just because you can put a bunch of words and syllables together does not make you an MC. It's got to be clarity. It's got to be concise. It's cadence. It's flow. It's intelligence. So many different layers to it because you get some MCs who say less, but they're so much more impactful.
That's right.
You know, that's just my humble opinion. So I took points away when he got to the second part of the rhyme.
Right. I got you. So you got anything else you want to add on?
Who else was it? Kendrick, right?
What? Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
MC, definitely MC. I'll say less. You know what I mean? I don't need to say more after that. And Drake, I think he's in the middle. You know what I mean? But what I do want to point out, you know what I mean, for the people, definitely that I think we all can agree that the Locks versus Dipset was definitely like a MC versus rappers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
It was more of an MC versus rappers, but let us not be fooled. You know, let's not fool ourselves. That Locks are definitely way more MCs than Dipset is, but let's not put the Locks into a complete MC category either.
That's true.
The Locks
That's
are
true.
the Locks are quite irresponsible with their lyrics.
That's true.
They adhere primarily to the behavior of rapping. They care about, you could tell that they care about how they write, but they don't care about what they say. They don't care about what the impact is of what they say. To me, a fairer one was KRS versus Big Daddy Kane. And if you really want to go there, you know, Kane represents lyricism, KRS represents depth of lyricism, right? KRS represents what you say, and Kane represents how you say it, and it's always been like that from the beginning. From the beginning, right? KRS was never ever hyper lyrical. However, as we all know, KRS was going to drop many a gem that was going to have you run into a dictionary and encyclopedia, people study who he was talking about. Kane, none of that. It didn't matter because Kane's presentation, his concern only was for the behavioral aspects of MCing. KRS's concern has primarily been about the psycho-spiritual aspects and the cultural aspects of MCing. And so that's really the battle or the verses that we saw. It was behavior versus psycho-spiritual and cultural depth.
It's great analysis. Great analysis.
To add to that, I looked at it as order and chaos, which is what you're saying. Kane represented order, the complexity of the rhyme, the wordplay, and KRS-One represented chaos in the sense that his energy was going to engulf, and of course, the impact of what he said. And the very last line on one of KRS-One's freestyle pretty much embodied what you said. He said, Kane came to put on the show, but I came to show. And
Right. Right.
My own mic. I said,
Yeah.
right there. You know, Kane came to put on a show, but
Yeah.
I came to show you.
No doubt.
And nobody died. No women were raped.
There you go. There you go.
Nobody got killed.
Nobody pop no pills.
Either one of their flows.
Right.
So it was good to sit the young people down, and so they could see there's so much more to rhyme and MC about than, you know, moving cocaine and you know, disrespecting our women or killing people. So bravo to KRS One and to Big Daddy Kane. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Hey, we got a question though in the comment section, and I think it's a good one. It says, "Who will be a good versus Buster?" I don't think nobody can mess with Buster.
Buster's to me in the class of his own.
Me too. I think the same thing too.
I think LL could give him a run though.
No,
You don't think LL?
nah.
I mean, LL, you know, LL Showtime, man. I mean, LL can.
Two different eras.
Yeah, two different eras.
Two different eras, and you know, to me, I've seen if you getting on after Buster, you better have your shit together because the vortex that he creates of energy on that stage when he's done, it can leave you disoriented. No, I saw him at a show, and I was up close to the stage, and the vortex of energy left there after him and his partner did what they did. I forget who came on behind them. They looked disoriented. So you gotta, if you look on the bill and you see Buster or KRS, get on first. Get to the bar and get you a drink because it's gonna be something, you know.
Yeah. Nah, but Buster's special, man. Buster's special. He definitely got longevity, but I definitely appreciate you know, y'all for, you know, for being here tonight, you know what I'm saying? And just real quick, because you know, I'm a barbershop floor instigator and I do that for a living, you know what I mean? So always, and I'm gonna come back, we're gonna do another show soon, and we're gonna do my top 50 rappers or MCs. And I always tell people, and this get people set off in the shop, I say, look, Eminem is 50 on my top 50. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And people go crazy. They go crazy. No, come on, Jabari. Come on, Jabari. Come on, Jabari. You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, people they be mad, man. They be mad at me. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they said 50 though, 50, you know, and I got a whole list. I made a whole list of rap that I made a list of like 70 something people, you know what I mean? But then I put him at 50. And then I read off a whole list of other rappers, you know, or MCs, you know.
Who's top five though?
I was about to ask y'all that. And I can't put him in. By far, I'm gonna be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like Nas was my first, my favorite. I think now I'm leaning more towards Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying, as like my favorite rapper at this time. You know what I'm saying? Only because I can see his growth and development, you know what I'm saying, from where he started from. And then the things that he talk about.
You don't see Nas?
No. Nas is my man, but I think I cannot. You know what I mean? Like I think you know what? I think it was like when the 444 came out. That was right around the time that my father passed away, and I could feel the frequency and how he talked about his dad, and I could feel like he was talking about legacy, and it was like I really connected in with that, and it was like a spirit around that. You know what I'm saying? That helped me connect during that time. And I think it was like, dang, you know what? I felt it, and he was saying some of the stuff, you feel what I'm saying? And it was just like, damn, yo, I like feel like a little more connection. But then it was like, I like the album. I know y'all probably disagree. I like the album that he did with Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like putting their relationship on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? And they came together, and I felt it. I mean, that's me. That's just me. You know.
Jay-Z morphed into Nas, and Nas is morphing into Jay-Z.
Yep.
That's deep.
Now, my top five is unfair because I got to go into my era, which is, you know, Cold Crush Brothers before Wax. I'm from Cedar Park. So I always held my Mount Rushmore, because I do it in eras, is Kumo D, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, and the Chief Rocker Busy Bee. And this is the stuff they did before any records came out. Those were the ones who taught me the art of MCing. Now, my era, my class of MCs that I came out in, I dropped in 88. I gotta say, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS, Coogee Rap,
You got
and
Cool
then
G
you
up there.
got me. And that excludes Nas and Jay-Z, which came a little
Lee.
later. They're children of Big Daddy Kane and that era. So
Rakim and him.
it's very hard for me to pinpoint 5 MCs, in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Five is tough. I mean, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely, I mean, and I'm gonna tell y'all though, honestly, I know we never put the women in there, but I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite MCs of all time that I love. MC Light is one of my favorite MCs of all time, man. I love MC Light. I followed her for a long time. Like I put her, she up there with me. You know what I mean? I rock with her for a long time. But Justin, who top five? Who your top five? Who you put in your top?
Well, I don't go by who's the quote unquote best. When you use the word best, it's subjective. You know, I go by who's measurably, objectively better, right? Who is behaviorally, psychospiritually, culturally, and socially more developed than another? Because those things I
Wow.
can actually measure. I can look at those things. They're not based on my personal feelings. I don't do opinions. I tell people all the time I don't have opinions. You know, so measurably, who's the best and who's been the best, stayed the best. Because I'm not talking about, we could all say Rakim is a legend. Of course, Cool G's a legend. Of course, these things are like, we can't argue these things. You know what I mean? They're legends, but that doesn't mean that they are like right now, today, right? Top 5 MCs that will destroy you right now, just like they've been able to the whole time. So I look at it like that. You know, so for me, it's Pharaoh Monch, right? Pharaoh's on my list.
Okay.
Since the demo tape in '89 of releasing Hypnotical Gases, you're not even getting better than releasing Hypnotical Gases today. You're not. Most people are never ever going to make a song as good as that. You know, Pasta News from De La Soul, right?
Wow.
Consistent for 30 years
Everybody
straight.
had him on his list. Okay.
You're not beating Pasta News. You're not better than. You're never going to do better than a Pos. You know, consistently, right? You're not going to do better than. So here's one that's a little bit more controversial, but is provable. LP of Company Flow, now LP of Run the Jewels. But LP has been dope since 96 when actually they released Corners. They released Corners in 94, and then Fun Crusher Plus came out in 96.
Top
And
5
so,
though?
listen, will destroy has and will destroy anybody you put against him. And I will put up, and I've heard it all. I've been around.
Dang.
I've been around. We'll kill them, crush them. Any of your favorite mainstream rappers, will kill them. MF Doom.
Whoa.
Is easily top 5, and he's dead, and he's top 5 of all times ever. You're never, ever, ever gonna find a better writer in hip hop than MF Doom. And if you don't know, then you haven't listened. You haven't studied his projects. You haven't listened to his words, his wordplay, and his writing. Doom is as they say, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Right. Yep.
He will cold kill you. And for number 5. I don't know. I mean, I'll throw in a wild card, but I mean, it's very hard for me, again, just based on depth alone, to not include Chris, because Chris is still making albums.
Yes.
Chris, over time, has consistently put out projects that always seek to help you to either know yourself more, either foster relationships between you and your race, you and your culture, or has created songs that facilitate a relationship between you and spirit or God or whatever you want to call that which is of ultimate value to all of us. And so Chris has been the most consistent, not just philosopher, but teacher. And again, lyrically, no, all the behavior, all the fancy word flourishes. No, he doesn't do that. But he is committed more than any other MC in the past 30, almost damn near 35 years.
Can't argue that.
For consistently putting out projects that don't center his ego, right? But that center you and the upliftment of humanity, you know, and you can't knock that. You can't shit on that. You know, so those are my 5.
You got the most different top 5 I've ever heard, man. That's a different.
You really thought about that.
It's based
A whole
on
bunch of
evidence.
people. I'm like,
I don't do
yeah,
opinion. It's based on evidence. It's based on evidence. I don't do opinion.
we definitely get to go back and forth about that one. But see, I'm interested in hearing your top 5 now, man.
Oh man, you know who it is. You know it's
right
Nas, Jay-Z, 3000. I like Kweli. And I'm gonna go with Black Thought. You know what I mean? Because I would like to see CL, your man CL against Black Thought, man.
Oh no, hell no, CL get destroyed. Oh my god.
Oh no. Against Thought, come on, man.
Roy.
Oh,
No.
man. Yeah, man. But no, we'll come back and talk about that. But no, I thank y'all for joining us here tonight. We really appreciate the build, you know, about mental health and talking about brother Kanye, and you know, and the other things that we ventured into. Definitely had to come back and do some more of this. I appreciate y'all for coming out, and those that's watching again. You know, like I said, we on fire. We blowing things up. We got a brand new Nearly Fuller that you ain't never heard. We're gonna load up the YouTube, you know what I mean, on tomorrow for y'all. You know what I'm saying, that y'all get to see, and you know, and then y'all go over to the Patreon page. You want to join that too? You can also click the link there, and we got some exclusive stuff that's gonna be there, sitting there waiting for y'all. But don't forget, you know what I'm saying, you see the Cash App on the screen, you know what I'm saying, waiting to hear some people blow up the Cash App, and we got the PayPal there, you know what I'm saying, to go there, drop your 13, 17, your 5s or whatever it is, your 100s, whatever you feel. But I think this was a great build tonight, I appreciate y'all brothers for coming out. And you know, like I said, we definitely got to do this again, you know, because it definitely started to heat up, and we got to go over these top 5s and these top 10s and these top 50s, you know what I'm saying? Like the you know, so brother Seniority, you want to say something in closing? Well, let the brothers y'all want to give out your email addresses, or you know what I mean, in your show. We can start with you, brother Black Dot, and then go around.
Yes, I have a father and son podcast that comes on every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. now. Urban X TV.
Yep.
On YouTube. We would love to. We cover a lot of topics. So if you want to show some support, hit us up at Urban X TV.
Urban X TV.
No doubt. Brother Justin.
Sure. You can catch me a couple different places. My website is milesinstitute.net. That's the website for my private practice. But also I have a clothing store there. You also can find things about preparedness there. I teach preparedness. And also I'm a teacher of Buddhism and Taoism and contemplative Christianity. You can find that there, find all of that stuff there. Also, I have another website. It's called hiphopalive.org. And that is for all of my writings about the intersections of hip hop, psychology, and spirituality. You can also check out my label at mysterysoundrecordings.bandcamp.com. And that is where you can find all of my albums. I have about 13 albums there. My label has
13? Wow, okay.
My label has close to about 40 albums there. I have about 6 artists on the label. We have vinyl that's dropping soon. Our very first vinyl project based on a retreat that we did where we went into the woods on 10 acres of land. We took all of our musical equipment, hooked it all together for 2 days, and we made an album just live, just all collaborating together. So that's coming out, and that's enough.
No doubt. I want to thank you to brother Al for the 1317 donation. We appreciate that. Y'all can keep coming in even while we close out. Brother Seniata, you want to say something in closing out?
I'm gonna close it out, man. I'm gonna close it out first by saying thanks to the brothers. You know, Black Dot, I appreciate your contribution, beloved. You know what I mean? We hold you up high. Continue to work, man. We support you. Anything you need from us, man, let us know. We on deck. You know what I mean? Thanks for coming on Bonded by the Blade. Brother Justin, the hip hop therapist, bro. I appreciate you, man. Your offering, man, was beautiful. The collaboration was dope, man. I think the synergy was there, man. And you know, y'all are part of something that we're gonna continue to make bigger, man. Y'all have made it bigger today, man. So I thank you guys for that. And I want y'all to leave with something, man. Me and Jabari, we built our relationship back up, man. You know what I mean? We call bonded by the blade because we came back to our center. We was away for a while and not, you know what I mean, as tight as we once was before. So we encourage everybody, man, to go back, man, and build on a relationship that you have had in the past that you know you can repair at this moment, because it's more healthier for you, you know what I mean, to make that happen and make that manifest. So I appreciate y'all being on Bonded by the Blade, man. We about healing, man. We about healing the community, healing ourselves and healing our family. And let's continue that message as we go on, brothers. Appreciate y'all.
And let me say this to brother Seniata, like he said, you know, but he said we beef for, like, I mean, you know, we came in this thing, we met in the 7th grade, man. You know what I'm saying? So we came into all this stuff together. You know what I mean? And then we beef. After a while, we best friends 19 years, and then we had a fallout for almost like 10 years, man. About 10 years we had. I mean, we ain't never fight or nothing like that, but you know what I mean. But things wasn't the same, and we had to, you know what I mean. We wasn't feeling each other like that.
That's right.
But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, we came back together. You know what I mean, as brothers, and like, man, look, we better together because we did a lot of work out there on them streets, and it's in Tubman City, Baltimore community. So we came back together, and we urging other people, man, come back together, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean, brothers, sisters, lovers. All, you know what I mean, everybody out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on back together. I want to say, as we close out, as y'all had the difference between the MCs and the rappers, there's a difference. We barbers, we master barbers. There's a difference between hair cutters and barbers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Hair cutters, they cut and they put hair on the floor. They can do nasty designs and all kinds of stuff. But the fulfillment of a barber takes care of your head inside and out.
That's
you feel
right.
What I'm saying?
That's what we do.
Why he cut your hair, he giving you spirits of ministry. He give you that spiritual knowledge. He giving you a whole different perspective. He make you feel good about yourself. You may be going through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just somebody coming in the shop and, oh yeah, I went to the Dominicans and they gave me a sharp lines, man. They don't even speak your language in there. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We talking about like being able to give that spirit, you know what I'm saying? It's a ministry, so it's a difference. So we promote barbers. And not just hair cutters, but barbers in this field. So and I just want to say that, you know what I mean? So
barbershops as well.
And barber shops. So that's what this Bonded of the Blade is all about. You know what I mean? Bringing that feeling and that spill to the barbering world and to the conscious community, because this is what we've been doing in general. Right. So, brothers, we thank y'all again for coming on.
Peace.
Love y'all, brothers, and y'all take it easy. We'll holler at you next time. Peace, hotel.
All right, peace.
All of that.
All right, peace.